right, guys, summer is here. 2026, time for another round of center console boats. We're gonna look at boats starting out at about the $45,000 range and work our way up little by little from there. We're gonna do something a little different today. We're gonna throw one aluminum fishing boat of similar size and see what is the real difference in the features that you get. And as we all know, aluminum boats are a little bit cheaper. Let's compare. All right, guys, welcome back. Here we go. Today I am coming at you from Waikiki, Hawaii, my new home. Can you believe that? We've been here for 2 weeks. Me and my wife finally made it happen. We're here, we live here now. It's amazing, feels like I won the lottery. All right, here we go, let's get into it. We're gonna start out with the little ones and work our way up to the big ones. We got a 16-foot Robalo, $45,459. Guys, I like Robalo a lot. Robalo gives you a really sweet boat for a really good price. If you feel like the Grady Whites and the Boston Whalers are too expensive, and if you feel like you're paying for the name on those boats, with Robalo, you get such a nice boat and you're not paying up for the name and such a better price. So what we're gonna do today is look at a couple of these, and then we're gonna take an 18-foot aluminum fishing boat, typical aluminum fishing boat that's got your windshield, your basic 2 front seats, little bench seats, and just kind of compare them and see what you get for the price and see which one we like better. But this is a nice little boat, 16-footer. I would consider this a really nice 2-man fishing boat. One thing I don't like about these smaller boats is you see the brackets, okay, the metal bracing for the soft top, it attaches to the side of the boat. So it's right in your way. If you want to fish off the side of the boat right there, you can't. You'd have to take that off. So if you're gonna leave it on so you have some shade for the day, then you're just gonna have to fish from the front part of the boat. And that's just, that when you buy one of these cheaper boats, that's just what you get. Once you get up to the bigger boats, they're a little more expensive. Your 20-footers, 22-footers, then you start getting where the bracing for that nice soft top comes down and it's attached to the center console, and that way when you walk around the side of the boat, it's out of your way. But you still have plenty of room to fish at the front of the boat. And I don't know, what do you guys think of this boat for $45,459? Robalo boats usually come loaded with everything. I mean, they got rod holders all around. They usually come with the electronics included in the price. And they pretty much give you everything included in the price, and it's a good a price as you're gonna get for a boat that comes equipped like that one. Now, here's a 19-foot Starcraft boat. Same price, but it's a 19-footer instead of a 16-footer. So Starcraft is one of those boats where it's kind of considered one of the cheaper boats, right? Like a Bayliner. And so to kind of compete with these other names, they got to give you a little more. And they are. They give you a 19-foot boat instead of a 16-foot boat for the same price as that Robalo. This one has a live well. That Robalo, that little one, it didn't have a live well. Huge cooler under the seat, big enough for some bigger fish. And it comes fully equipped. Cup holders, built-in rod holders all around. Again, see, the bracing for your soft top is attached to the side of the boat there, right at the back of the boat. So that's right in your way. So you're not gonna be able to fish off the side of the boat right there. Whether you're just, fishing, bottom fishing, or if you're trolling, you can't do that either because it's just right in your way. So if you're gonna be fishing, you kind of have to just take that off and leave it at home. It's kind of a bummer, but there you go. It's got the Simrad electronics. So you got your fish finder navigator included in the price. Really nice dash, nice looking boat. Nice wraparound seating on the bow. So the bow is not really fishable. So this is kind of a 50-50 boat, right? It's kind of a boat for entertaining and taking friends out, but then like the back half of the boat and the sides are very fishable. So it's they kind of set it up so you can kind of do everything with it. I'm a fishing kind of guy, so I like to see it fully equipped for fishing first and foremost for me personally. But still a lot of boat for the money. Okay, now we're back down again to a 16-foot Boston Whaler. Again, we're talking basically the same price, $46,061. So, I mean, with Boston Whaler, it's one of those boats you're gonna pay up for the name. And you'll see that it's a little more basic and a little more bare bones compared to the other boats we just looked at. So you're not getting as much for your money. So you're only getting a little 60 horse motor on this one. But it's a Boston Whaler, so the boat doesn't have as many features, but it's the same price because you're paying up a little bit for the name for the Boston Whaler. It doesn't have a built-in gas tank, so you got your gas tank under the seat there. So, you know, the dash, very basic, kind of a bare bones, nothing on the dash, no electronics. So, I can tell you right now, the first two boats we looked at, I find much more interesting because you just get so much more boat for the money. I mean, I'm not sure why pay the same price for this one. I mean, Boston Whaler's awesome. I mean, we all love Boston Whaler, but I just don't want to pay up for the name, you know. But, you know, it's got some features that other boats don't have. It's got the safety rails that go all the way around the whole boat. Love that. If you lose your balance, you got something to grab onto. And they usually have a good sized deck on them too. All right, now we're at Robalo again. This time it's an 18-foot Robalo. $53,685. So we just went up a little bit, but not that much for an 18-foot boat. So a nice 115 Yamaha motor on it instead of a little 60. And it's going to be fully equipped with all your electronics. This is why I like Robalo. Again, at this price, you got your framing for that soft top attached to the side of the boat again. And that's kind of a bummer. You can live with that, but if you want to troll or you want to fish from that section of the boat, you're just going to have to take it off and leave it at home. But really, that's if you're trolling. If you're going to be just sitting still and just fishing, you know, bottom fishing, you can fish off the front part of the boat and leave it and you'll be fine. But yeah, so I try to pause it on the tag on every boat. So if you guys want to pause the video and get a shot of that tag and you want to read the whole tag, you want to read all that information, you can pause the video there. But so far, I'm liking this boat. Stay tuned, you guys. We got an amazing 25-foot Pursuit boat coming up, and it's going to be like the king of all of these center console boats. It's amazing. It's a dream boat. But yeah, so far of the boats we've seen, I'm liking this one the best. $53,685 for a sweet 18-foot boat. That's a good size for a center console. The walkway is nice and wide, easy to walk all the way around. Very fishable. I don't see the electronics on the dashboard on this boat, so I guess it doesn't come with your fish finder for this price. I would have to ask, but I assume if it did, it would be there. Rod holders all over. Robalo makes a serious fishing boat, man. They don't just make like a party boat or a boat for entertaining friends. They're pretty serious about the fishing. They're usually fully equipped with all your rod holders, live well, fish finder, everything. Nice forward-facing seat, and this hatch comes open on these Robalo boats, and that's usually where your toilet's going to be. They don't have a toilet on this one, and it's probably because that space is so small that I'm not sure if you could actually, if there was a toilet in there, are you really going to get in there and shut that door and use it? I mean, that is a tiny space. Probably better to just use that for storage. If you really want the toilet, I think you're probably going to have to step up to a bigger boat, but still a sweet boat. Those back seats, the back part folds down so you can stand on it or put it up when you got some friends out with you. I think for what you get for your money, it's really tough to beat Robalo. and I'm not seeing a live well. In the middle section there, that little hatch right there to the left. Man, I should have checked. Not sure, but I'm not seeing a live well. Anyway, okay guys, here's an 18-foot Weldcraft aluminum fishing boat, just to compare. Now, same price as the boats we've been looking at. So it's right in line, the same price range, $57,126, and I love it because it's got a big deck. You got a fish box built in there for good sized fish, a cutting board to cut your bait, fillet your fish. You have a good sized deck at the back of the boat so two guys can bring a big fish into the boat and you have room to work, and that is huge. As far as I'm concerned, you have to have that. And the other smaller center console boats don't have it. So I like that aluminum boat better so far. That's the one I would pick at this price range so far. And that's why they're so popular up here in the Pacific Northwest where I'm from. Boston Whaler 17-footer. Okay, now we jumped up in price again because it's a Boston Whaler. It's only a 17-footer, but we jumped up in the price to $69,553. Mercury 115 motor on it. Pretty nice motor. So, but I tell you what, Boston Whalers do actually give you a decent sized deck at the back of the boat. And the other center console boats we've looked at so far, they don't. There's no space on the deck. There is not enough room for two guys to bring in a big fish, no room to work, but Boston Whaler knows that you need that. And they designed their boats to have that. So this one has a good sized deck behind that driver's seat. And it's the only center console boat we've seen so far that has that. So that's big. That's really important. And that's one thing I really like about Boston Whalers. Nice canvas top again. It's attached to the side of the boat again. So it's gonna be in your way a little bit when you're fishing. Big cooler at the front of the boat below that seat. I love that. I'd rather have a big cooler there than have just like a storage box or a built-in fish box. Because at the end of the day, you just grab it and take it out, and that's really convenient. So I like the coolers. I'm fine with having a cooler instead of a built-in storage box or a fish box. Okay, this 20-foot Robalo, we're up to the 20-footers now. $88,060. Again, I always take a shot of the tag and hold it there for a couple seconds, guys, so any of you that want to pause it and read that whole thing, you can. So now you got a wakeboard tower. You can do some wakeboarding, pull some friends on the tube. Nice little feature. And fully equipped. Look at all the rod holders along the back of the seat. A nice big cooler under the seat for your fish or munchies. A wide walkway. And now we're getting to where we have a nice, good sized canvas top. That is a beautiful top. Rod holders all the way across. And with all of that railing going around, you can attach other things to it. You can attach some LED lights to that. You know, mount maybe a stereo, some storage boxes. Okay, this is a sweet boat. Okay, now we're getting into a serious center console boat. Nice live well. This is a proper center console boat now because it has everything, including the live well, that nice canvas top where the railing attaches to the center console and not to the side of the boat. So now you can totally fish all the way around the entire boat with nothing in your way. This is a proper boat. But you're paying for it, $88,060. Look at that fully equipped dash with all your electronics, Simrad electronics. So you got your fish finder, navigator, everything. This is a sweet boat, man. Now we were talking about aluminum boats. You can get a sweet 20-foot aluminum boat. The last one we looked at, that was an 18-footer, but you can get a sweet 20-foot aluminum fishing boat for about $20,000 less, right? So right around 68, give or take, you can get a nice 20-foot aluminum boat. It's gonna have a good sized deck on it too. So I'd be curious to hear some comments and some opinions, guys. What do you like? I mean, I love them both, man. But now that I'm living in Hawaii, this would be an amazing boat. I mean, these boats are designed for good weather. You know, I lived in Washington my whole life and nobody owns center console boats because it's just not good weather. If you're out there and you get a little bit of rain, I mean, you're kind of screwed. But at a place like Hawaii, Southern California, Florida, it's open so that ocean breeze can cool you off. Nothing wrong with this boat. I have no complaints about this boat. Fully loaded with your electronics, live well, wide walk around. It's got some deck space too. Okay, now we're stepping up to another about 8,000 more for a Boston Whaler, but a little smaller, 19-footer. So again, you're paying for the Boston Whaler name. We went up $8,000, but the boat size is a bit smaller. Okay, it's only a 19-footer, but that's because it's Boston Whaler. But this is going to be a nice one though. A lot of deck space here. Rod holders built in everywhere, high safety railings all the way around. Love that. Love the safety railings. The last thing you want to deal with is being out there on the ocean and falling over. If you're out there by yourself and for some reason you fall over, man, you are so screwed. That is like the worst thing. So I really like those high safety railings. And look at this beautiful oversized canvas not a hard top, it's a canvas top, but it's extra large, and that thing was awesome. And the railing for it is attached to the boat, inside the boat, close to the center console, so it's out of your way. Again, now that we're getting up to this price range, that's what you get. The cheaper ones don't have that, but this one, now you can fish from all sides of the boat, and that railing for your soft top is not in the way. So this is a sweet boat, man. Look at the deck. That's a good sized deck, but I don't see a live well. Why is there not a live well? All right, 20 foot. Okay, now we're at the $100,000 mark, guys. 20-foot Boston Whaler. We got a little Hawaiian live music going on next to me. That's all right. It happens in Hawaii. Nice 200 V6. Okay, a super sweet motor. The nicest motor we've seen so far. That's a badass motor. So again, nice built-in rod holders, safety railing all the way around. That back seat is folded down, but that folds up for extra seating. Look at the deck space. You have nice deck space here. Room to work, room to bring in a big fish. That's what you need. Boston Whaler does a good job of that. And it has extra wide walkway. The sides there where you walk around, those are nice and wide. You can easily walk around. You don't have to squeeze through. And you can easily stand there and fish. Great boat. Little built-in tackle box to organize your tackle there. And then if you lift the seat up, then you got a bunch of storage under that with rod holders built in there. You got rod holders everywhere. And no electronics, so you don't get electronics with the price on Boston Whaler. Okay, they usually don't do that. Rod holders, they got the net built in there for storage, like a big storage net. Nice hard top, sweet hard top. And the framing for that hard top is attached to the bottom, but it's tucked in. So it's not in your walkway, it's tucked in there, so it's like in front of the center console. Sweet boat. Really nice forward-facing seats. Look how wide that walkway is. You can stand there and fish off the side, no problem. Plenty of room. This is a proper center console. This is nice. But again, where's the live well? Do we not have a live well? So one more look. Now that we've made our way up to the 20-footers, at 100,000, we're up to 100,000. One more look at an 18-footer that you get for 57,126 with a nice 115 motor on it. I mean, I would say that's the minimum motor you need for this 18-foot boat. You wouldn't really want to go smaller than that, but still, you guys, I would still, from everything we've seen so far, I would have to go with a boat like this because it's so much cheaper and it's got a big deck on it. So it's very fishable, very useful. You got room to work. All right, Sailfish, you guys. Sailfish is another boat. I feel like they're definitely competing with Grady White and Boston Whaler for a much better price. Again, $99,897, the same price as that 20-foot Boston Whaler we just looked at, but it's a 22-footer, so you get a lot more boat for the same price, right? So that's why I like Sailfish. Another boat where you can get a boat that's basically almost the same as a Grady White or Boston Whaler, but just a much better price because you're not paying for the name. Love that it's a 22-footer. Now you're getting into a boat where you got plenty of room to work. Room for everything. Nice hard top. Again, the framing for the hard top comes down and attaches to the center console, not to the side of the boat. Beautiful boat, built-in storage up high that locks up. Sound system, LED lights. That is the nicest hardtop that we've seen so far. Built-in rod holders off the back, extra large hardtop. That is the nicest hardtop we've seen, I think, so far. So I love the boat. Love the boat. Space for a toilet. No toilet yet. I assume it would be extra if you wanted them to add the toilet. You'd have to check, but it probably is. So I'm a fan of Sailfish, guys. I like Robalo because you get such a nice boat for the money when you compare it to the big dogs, to the big names. Sailfish, same thing. You get a lot of boat. Okay, also we have a live well. Those Boston Whalers we looked at did not have a live well. This has a live well. A space for a nice big cooler under the seat. I'm sure it comes with a cooler included in the price. It's not there right now, but. And deck space. Decent amount of deck space. Good enough. It's not huge, but good enough. Okay, now we're stepping up to the big dogs, 23-footer. Guys, again, Robalo, a 23-footer that's just fully loaded with everything for $118,715. Awesome boat. If this was a Grady, a 23-foot Grady, it'd be way more. Or a 23-foot Boston, it'd be way more. Or a Pursuit. That'd definitely be more too, but Robalo, I just think you get everything that these other boats have for a much better price. It's had a sweet motor, 250. Okay, nice cooler, Robalo brand cooler. That's a good quality cooler. That's like a Yeti cooler. It's just like a Yeti cooler, but it's Robalo's own cooler, but those are good coolers. Not a huge deck space. I kind of would hope for more deck space for a 23-foot boat. That's my one little complaint about Robalo, is the deck space. I wish they would just kind of arrange the boat a little better so it had a little bit bigger deck space. But look at the dash here, man. That is fully loaded with your nice Simrad electronics. Fish finder, navigation, everything. Awesome boat. I could have so much fun. Look at that beautiful hard top. Huge hard top. Rod holders, LED lights. What do you guys think, man? Leave some comments. That deck is big enough. It's not bad. That'll work. And a nice back bench seat that folds down. So you'll have a nice bench seat back there if you have more friends on the boat. That's sweet, and it folds up when you're fishing. Very nice. Awesome boat. Don't go away, guys. The 25-foot Pursuit is coming up in a minute, and it is the king of all of these boats. And I kind of wish that those people back there would shut up. Jesus. That doesn't really sound like, sounds like maybe they need to practice a little more. Hey, okay, now we have a full toilet, a real toilet, not an empty space, not a porta potty. We have a toilet included in the price. That's sweet. The price of $118,715 sounds better. You know, I'm liking the price even more now that I see that it has a real toilet, comes with the boat. Okay, like I said, Pursuit is a boat that is going toe-to-toe with Boston Whaler. If you look at the Boston Whaler of the same size, it's very similar. They're competing with each other. They're going toe-to-toe with each other. But Pursuit is going to be the cheaper boat for sure. Pursuit is trying to go toe-to-toe with Boston Whaler and give you the same boat for a much better price. They're not cheap. They're not. They're a little more expensive than most of the boats we've seen, but they are definitely cheaper than Boston Whalers. So if you love Boston Whalers, but you feel like you're paying for the name a little bit, I think Pursuit is a great alternative. You get an amazing boat, high-end fishing boat that's almost equal or pretty much equal to a Boston Whaler for a much better price. And that's why I love Pursuit. Look at this, live well, rod holders across the back. You got a metal bar that pops up, so if you want to do some wakeboarding or pull some friends on a tube, you got that. Cup holders, rod holders, all the way around. This is a dream boat, man. This is a dream boat. Decent deck. And you can see how wide it is too. You can see that this definitely has the wider beam. Once you step up to a 25-foot boat, the beam on this boat is wide, nice and wide. So definitely room on this deck, room to work. Couldn't get that freaking thing out. I was fighting with it. I believe that's access to your batteries. Not sure if that's a fish box or not, but you do have plenty of fish boxes built into the boat. This right here, that's a fish box, okay? And there's one on each side. So you got plenty of built-in fish boxes here. That's a pretty deep fish box. So you got room for quite a few fish that are gonna fit in there. And there's another one on the other side. So there's one on each side. So you got room for plenty of fish. Two nice long, pretty deep fish boxes. I love Pursuit boats, man. All Pursuit boats. They're all so nice. The bigger ones, the little ones. Super nice boats. They're gonna cost a little more than some of the cheaper boats we saw, like Robalo. But they're super sweet and they're loaded. $230,085. Look at this. Side-by-side bucket seats with armrests for each person. Those are nice. You got this incredible dashboard. Look at that. All the electronics you could ever ask for. Got a fish finder on one side, navigator on the other side, or whatever you like. Huge hardtop, storage boxes, LED lights, sound system, rod holders. Awesome boat. I want one. I just need to save up another $230,000 and then I'll be good to go. Nice Yeti cooler. That cooler is pretty much identical to the Robalo coolers that they have. Just different name on it. I think those Yeti coolers are way overpriced. I think they're ridiculous, way too expensive. I would not buy a Yeti cooler. I just need a cooler that's gonna hold ice and be good for the day and last until the end of the day. You know what I mean? Any basic cooler I think can do that. I don't need to spend a ton of money on a Yeti cooler. Serious boat, man. I love Pursuit. Look at the cleats. Your cleats, they tuck down into the boat so they're not sticking up, so your net won't get caught. Nice large storage boxes on the side, and they got the rubber strip around it, so when you close that thing up, it'll close up nice and airtight. Water won't get in there when it rains or when you're fishing. Look at the backrest. I think I could get comfortable up there. Sit back, put your feet up, Look at that beautiful bench seat, forward-facing seat with the armrests. It's got windshield wipers. Loaded boat. Beautiful boat. Love it. Little pricey though. The 23-foot Robalo. Look at this little bathroom. By far the nicest little bathroom we've seen so far. A toilet with plenty of leg room and elbow room. Now that's a toilet you could actually use comfortably. That's nice. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you got your boat fixed for the day. Hope you got a kick out of the video. We'll see you on the next one. Now that I live here in Hawaii, there's so much amazing fishing to do, and I can't wait to bring it to you and to this channel very soon. See you on the next one.